Welcome back guys, this is Vishu from SavageCamp, and in today's video we are going to look at the CHMOD command with numbers to change permission. And there are two ways to do this. The one is you put numbers like 444 or you put alphabets like U plus RW, so that would give the user write and read access. But in this video we will just focus on only the numbers portion, because this might get confusing if we go on and cover both of them in the same video. So if I do an ls minus l, I will see we have all these files, and let's work with this one first. So always ignore the first bit. So we have read, write and dash, then read, write and dash, and read dash dash. So if I open the Sublime text, you will see this is our permission. So let's break it down. So ignore the first bit. The first three are users, the next three are groups, and the last one is others. So people who do not belong to that group or are not the owner of the files. So this one is going to be 6, this one is 6, and this one is 4. So this is CHMOD 644. So what I can do is change this to 6. We have 644 now. So I will do 6, 5 and 5. Remember, there are no spaces over here. And if I do vsftpd and ll vsftpd, then you will see that this one has changed its permission from here. Now the user can read and write, the group can read and execute, and others can read and execute. If you don't want this file to be accessed by anyone outside the users and groups, then you have to do chmod. So suppose we'll just give read and write access to the users and the group. So that would be 6 and 6, because read and write is 6. So 6 and 6 for users and groups, and we don't want to give any permissions to others. So I'm going to do a 0 and put in the file name. So now if I do an ll on vsftpd, you will see that in the last section there is nothing for others. So any other user who does not belong to this group or is not the owner will not have any access to this file. He cannot even read this file. If you want to give the user only read access, then you have to do chmod 664, because 4 is read. So you do 664 and put this file name, and then vsftpd, and here you will see this is back to the original one that we had. And remember, 664 is the most common and the default values for most files, because you want the users and group to read and modify the files, but you want anyone outside that group or the user to be able to at least read that file to know what it is. So this is the most common one. If you have putty keys and you're trying to connect to AWS will always tell you to chmod the file, the private key, with 400, which means that only the user can read that file. No one else can access it. So if I do that and do an ls minus l, you will see there's only a read bit over here, nothing else for others. So that is how you make a file only readable for the user who created it, and no one else will have access to it. And the user cannot even write into this. So he can only read this file. So that is 400. The worst permission to put is 777, which means that it is open for anyone and everyone. Which means that anyone who gets into this machine can read this file, write into this file, execute a script if it is a script file, and that's really bad. So you should never do that. chmod 777 is only for circumstances where it is absolutely needed by someone urgently and the permission change would take forever, or you will have to modify the groups and all, and it's just easier to chmod 777. But again, if you do that, make sure that you bring it back to your 644 or 664 at the end. You don't want to live with a file that is 777, which is basically open to anyone. Let's clear the screen, ls-l, and let's look at the script.sh. So for a script to execute, it needs the execute bit enabled. So right now we have this one. So if I bring it over here and let's remove this. So we have rwx, then we also have rwx, and we have rx. So this one is x. So this one is going to be 7. And guys, if you practice more, this will just come innately. You won't have to like calculate like this every time. You can just bring up any numbers like 554, which is like read, execute, read, execute, read. So it's easier when you do more of it. So this is 775, and this is the basic one for scripts, 775. So others can read and execute, but they cannot modify the script. That is the main part, that if you modify the script, it would break it. So that's why it's read, write, execute for the users and group, and read and execute for others. So if I want to lock this down for others, I will do 770 for others and then script.sh. So if I do this again, you will see that others have no permission to do anything on this file. And if you want to make this file not writable with anyone else, then you do 750, because then only the user can do stuff in here. So the group cannot write into this, they can only read and execute, and others cannot do that. And the other one that is most commonly used is 755, where only the user is able to edit the script with the write bit. So it's 7, so user can read, write, and execute, and then the group can only read and execute, and the others can also read and execute. So I think this is enough. You get the idea how CHMOD works. And if you want a folder to have this permission, all you have to do is -r over here. That will recursively change the permission for everything inside that folder. What I'm telling is everything inside temp should be like this. So you will see it has changed permission for everything inside this. But you will see it has not actually changed permission for these, because I think it's sudo issue. If I do a sudo, and it changed all the permissions for this. So if I do an ls-, let's clear the screen. So you can see that /temp, everything has the same permissions. So I think that is it for this video, guys. And in the next video, we will look at how to change it with alphabets. So that's it, guys. I will see you guys in the next video.